Hey, welcome back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Wednesday, so make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a rating on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. And Danny Football, tell a friend.
One friend.
Today was a crazy episode. We had BB19, Big Brother 19 house guest Kevin. We talked about his life growing up in Boston, slam dunk champion. We talked about Big Brother, time on Big Brother, and we talked about everything, it seems like. It was a great episode, and here it is. This is the Big Red Zone.
You could grab it, and if you could palm the ball, you could pull yourself up. So it was like you pulled yourself up. So it looked like I was level with the rim, which I was, but it's because you were assisting yourself. And then you would go out and just bang it as hard as you could. They went crazy. Crazy, man. I was giving more phone numbers that night than when I used to work the clubs, man. Yeah.
Steve, hurry up and open this podcast.
Yeah,
we got some stories to get into.
I know.
That's a true story, too.
We're on a roll.
That's a true story, man. Yes.
We got to get into it.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. And we were up in Mission Hill. So then for like in Mission Hill, back in those days, you were one of three things. You could fight real good, which I couldn't. I had an easy nose. You could break my nose by looking at it, right? You were a fighter, you were a baller, or you were a gangster. And I wasn't a good fighter or a good gangster, so I was a ball player.
There you go.
That was it. I could jump real high. So I used to get respect everywhere only because you could play ball. Everyone wanted to either dunk on me or have me dunk on them, one or the other. You know what I mean? So everywhere I went, they were like, hey, don't let Kevin dunk on you. Don't let that motherfucker dunk on you. So I would have, if I dunked on someone, listen, I dunked on this one guy. He went through the fence in Mission. And I said, where's he going? They said, man, he just got out of prison. Because when you dunk on someone back in 1980, 81, you would talk shit. You would look at them and stare them down. You know what I mean? He went to his car, got his gun. He'd come out, started shooting, and you couldn't go nowhere because Mission Park was blocked in by cement. So he's shooting at me because I dunked on him. But, I didn't know. And I was like, you mean he went to get a gun? So you can't run. If you run, you'd rather get shot than run. You know what I mean? Because if you run, you can't come back into the neighborhood. So my friend Doc jumped in and he got him in a headlock and he was sticking up because let's just put it this way. It was a different era back then, but I know it's hard to believe, but you couldn't run if someone was shooting. You either had to not get involved in it or you had to just back it up. You know what I mean? I didn't know he was going to get that crazy because he got dunked on. I had just got dunked on. It was all right. But once I dunked on somebody, they were shooting at me. Yeah. That's a true story, man.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Now, for all the listeners out there, obviously we have a very special guest. He's from Big Brother 19, Kevin.
Yeah.
He's also, if you just heard, a slam dunk champion. He's one of the best ball players coming out of Massachusetts from back in the day.
In Boston. Come out of Boston. We didn't travel out of Boston. We didn't go to the furthest we went out of Boston was Mattapan. And also a father for now 35 years.
Awesome.
I have 8 children.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did. And you're from Bridgewater, right?
From Mission. I live in Bridgewater now.
Right now you live in
I live in Bridgewater now. Yeah.
It's
pretty cool out here. Nice people, man. Really nice people.
He's one of them.
Yeah, I'm from West. I'm across the pond.
Really? I used to go to the games. I used to go to the high school games, but it would be too much of a distraction. I was like, why did they like me when I was in high school? I thought it was really cool, but I had to go on Big Brother. So now I go to the games and
You're talking to the freshman basketball coach.
I coach freshman basketball. I coach freshman basketball. Boys.
You played high school ball?
I played high school ball back in the day.
Where? At West Bridgewater?
At West Bridgewater, yeah.
My friend played at Bridgewater. He made the Hall of Fame. Jordan Wiggins.
Jordan, that sounds familiar.
He's 30 years old. How old are you? You 26?
I'm turning 26, yeah, 25.
My daughter went to Tilton. She was a McDonald's All-American.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did she play college
went to
ball?
Cardinals. She got I got 60 scholarships. I think Alyssa may have got 90 scholarships.
Wow.
But she ended up, she just didn't, when girls are different. One day she hit 18, she was like, Dad, I'm just not into it no more. I was like, fine, do what you want. I mean, I don't have to travel no more buying 9 Pepsis a day and driving like this, driving the car like this, shaking, drinking Pepsi after Pepsi, you know what I mean? And then when the refs make bad calls, I'd be like, I was never a yeller. I never said nothing, but like, she was really, like as a freshman, she averaged 18 points a game. She ended up going to Cardinal Spellman for 2 years and then went to Tilton Academy up in New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
And she was a McDonald's All-American. She didn't make the top 24. She made like the top 64. She got certificates and stuff for it. But all my girls were good athletes, really good athletes.
And and did you play? I know you played in Boston, but did you play?
Yeah, for Mission.
After. Did you play college ball anywhere? No. You don't want to embarrass anyone.
I graduated right to the bar rooms. No, listen. You know what? Listen, I went to Suffolk University. Mr. Nelson, you know Jim Nelson? He's the athletic director of Suffolk. Okay. So he recruited me, and I got Quinnipiac, St. Anselm, a lot of Division II because I wasn't a guard, and I was only 6'3". So back then even the forwards were 6'9". You know what I mean for Division I. Okay. So I got the Black Bears up in Maine. I got St. Anselm's. I got Quinnipiac, those type of schools. So I played at Suffolk. I played 1 game for them. And at those days, they used to play in the Cambridge YMCA at Suffolk before they had their own school. So I averaged 28 points the first 2 games. So I didn't go for the next couple of games. And they sent these guys through my neighborhood. So these guys came in 1979, November of 79, and they would pull up to the corner and they'd be like, hey, does anyone know Kevin Schlehuber? And everyone knew me. I was right there up in the apartment, but everyone would be like, no, and they would come running up. And I'd be like, what's up? They said, Kevin, there's some guy in a car looking for you, man. I said, for what? What do you want? And they were like, I don't know. He's driving around the neighborhood asking, does anyone know you? And I was like, so I said, Mr. Nelson, you can't send guys up there who look like police to my neighborhood. They're going to say they don't know me, when actually everybody in the neighborhood knew me. Everyone knew us. I had 6 brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My father was the bookie of the neighborhood, if you know what a bookie is.
Yeah.
So everyone knew me. So they were like, I said, Mr. Nelson, you can't send up dudes in a 4-door, and you can't just send up guys like that. It looks like they're police officers. So kids would come running up to the door and be like, Kevin, there's some guy looking for you. I'm like, what? And they'd be like, yeah, some curly-haired guy, looks like a police officer, he's looking for you. And I'm like, man, what did I do? I can't remember doing it. And Mr. Nelson was like, why'd you miss the game? He said, I sent the assistant coach up. And I said, that's who was looking for me in the neighborhood, man. Yeah, so I only played 3 games. Then I went to UMass Boston with Mr. Titus, Charlie Titus, really nice guy. But I was into the bar scene, and I was like, I thought I was slick. I thought it was like a, Saturday Night Fever type guy. So I thought it was cool. I would go to games when I felt like it. So I really didn't have obligations. So everyone knew me, but I was thinking, man, I used to go to Suffolk purposely because I was in love with this girl, and I would never say a word to her. So all this talk I do, I used to go into the library, and I'd sit in the library like this. Staring at the girl, and I never said a word to the girl. She was beautiful, man, beautiful, green eyes. I can still remember her now, 40 years later.
Hey, but not too many people can say I never knew that that you were a slam dunk champion.
I was in 8 slam dunk contests in my life, and I won 7 out of 8.
What happened to the one?
I was on the beach in Maine.
Over here.
I was on the beach in Maine. This is a true story. And by that time, I had 3 kids, and the kid was a neighborhood kid. So they were cheering. I would be doing a 360 dunk, and he would just lay it in like Rick Roby. And I'd be like, what, are you kidding me, man? And they gave it to him. And also, I don't know, I may have been under the influence. I don't know. I didn't win. But I was on the beach up in York Beach. You know York Beach, Maine?
Yeah, yeah.
I was on the beach. It was on the beach. You know the basketball courts outdoor? So I was out there, and they were telling me the night before, tomorrow there's a dunk contest. And I was like, fuck it. I was it was maybe 89. So I was almost 30 years old. And I said, but when I started dunking, I was on. I couldn't miss. And they gave it to the neighborhood kid ahead of me. But I didn't mind because
some hometown fans.
Yeah. But I had like 3 kids with me at the time, so it wasn't like looking out with Parliament Funkadelic, listening to Flashlight and everyone doing dunks, and then you're looking at the crowd trying to get girls' numbers. It wasn't like that. It was different, man.
It was towards the end of your dunking career.
Yeah, 100%. It was beginning of my dad career, which is really a career. The hardest hood I ever grew up in was parenthood. Trust me. It ain't nothing to do with Mission Hill. Trust me. Being a parent is the most difficult hood you could ever come from.
Now, I know that, I mean, obviously with COVID, it's a little different, but before pre-COVID, are you still playing ball at all? Have you been playing ball?
No, but I would play in the driveway. My daughter's boyfriend and a bunch of friends. I used to school them, man. They used to feel bad. Listen, you play at West Bridgewater. I'll meet you out. We'll play. My shot is on. I'm telling you. But I wouldn't. It ain't like I'd take them down low. They would get mad because they're like 20 and I'm like 60. They would start throwing elbows. I'm like, what the fuck? You want to throw elbows? So, I would play in low cut sneakers. You know what I mean? But at times I couldn't miss. Because you would have one of those like dead hoops. So if you got the ball up by there, it wouldn't bounce out. It would drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you can release quick and get the form, you got to follow through with the form. You know what I mean?
Hey, I want you on my team.
Yes, definitely. So where do you play rec? Do you play rec and stuff?
Well, I was playing in some men's leagues around here. I played in Hingham a couple leagues. I played in Swan.
Yeah. I got barred from that Hingham league. I got barred from there in '91. Yeah.
What'd you do?
Yeah, is it upstairs where you could sit upstairs? It's like a little restaurant.
There's a bar, yeah.
Yeah. That's then you know why I got barred from that league. Yeah. I brought some of the best ball players ever out of Mission Hill down there. We would win games 105-20. And I would start talking mess to them and be yelling and screaming. and Roscoe and then be like, Kevin, relax, man. We're down here in Hingham. And we would win the whole league. And I would go bring them all back to the Golden Temple in Brooklyn. You know what the Golden Temple is?
No, I don't know.
You know what Cleveland Circle is in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Cleveland Circle.
Yeah,
you come down Beacon, the Golden Temple, a Chinese restaurant. Oh, man, I used to take them up there. Oh, my God. I used to hang with some of the best ballers you've ever seen, ever. They were really, really good. Yeah.
That league, we obviously haven't.
Really good league. Some of the best players I've ever seen. Don't take this wrong, but where I grew up, I really never seen like white guys that were really, really, really good until I played in that league. But by that time I was 30. You know what I mean? And I was like, what the? These guys can play, man. These guys were like, they were like Mark Price. Remember Mark Price, the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Yeah.
Mark Price. The dude went to Georgia Tech, perfect haircut. Perfect shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? These dudes. And you couldn't intimidate them? Because, you know, most of our game was intimidation. It's like a defensive mechanism. You would go out there and act aggressive. And hopefully you would intimidate the people. And that's just how you played when we grew up. And by the time I was driving them down there, Charles and them were 18, 19. My brother played. My brother won the national championship at UMass Lowell in '86.
There you go.
This is a UMass Lowell alum right here.
Baby, class of 18.
You remember they won in '86 national championship basketball?
I know every championship year because that's what we have to hold on to.
Okay, 86. No, the hockey players used to come and stay at our house until we got into a fight. John Burrell out of Minnesota and a couple kids from Minnesota used to come to my house. And I had just lost my brother to cancer. It was 1986. My brother's team won the national championship up at UMass Lowell. Look at it.
He was on the team?
Yeah, he may have got thrown off before the final game. But he was on the team, yeah. Yes. Bobby Licari, Pat King, I can name them all. They used to stay at our house. They were so afraid to come to our house. They were terrified to come to our house because they would come into Mission. And back then in '86, check it out. Bobby Licari was the point guard. My brother was the point guard. I'm telling you, the coach may not have put him on because we used to take limousines up to the games. If you look at it, '86, they won the national championship. Am I right?
Let me see what we got here.
Check it out.
You have to show up in style to basketball games. You got to show up in a limo or you're not really showing up.
So at the limo, at that time, I could still play. It was '86. And so we would get out and I would start dunking at halftime and the fans would be cheering more for me at halftime than they were for the game. But his team won the national championship, 100%. They went down to Florida. They won.
That's amazing.
Division II national championship. I can name 8 players on the team, and that was 35 years ago.
This is a big UMass Lowell guy. He's a UMass Lowell hockey guy, but
Yes,
he's a big
hockey,
UMass
yeah.
Lowell in general.
I'd go back and
Okay, so you must know my lawyer. My lawyer is he played what's his name, man? Oh my God, he was my brother's friend. And also so afraid of our neighbor, but it's such a nice guy. He played hockey when Stevie played basketball. Stevie became friends with all the hockey players, so he used to bring them down to the house all the time. If you look, did it say they won in '86 the Division II national championship?
I'm seeing 88.
No, because my brother was sick. My brother passed away. They won in 88.
Let me see.
Division II, 86. Basketball, not hockey.
Yeah, I know. Let me see. I'm seeing 88 champs. Hold on.
They may have won the league champs. They were the national champs. I can name the players, all the players. My brother may have got thrown up. One of us may have. Duquesne was the girl. Dawn something was the coach. We threatened him, so he may have
Dawn
told my brother.
Yeah.
Dawn Duquette. We threatened him down in Florida in a hotel. And he was like, listen, your family can't come to the games no more. They can't come to the games no more. And I think Dawn Duquette may have thrown my brother off the team. They won in 86. I'm telling you, 100%. They won the national championship in 86. My brother was the point guard.
That's unreal. And you went to all those games. They played in Florida.
Well, we didn't go to all of them. Well, when they went to Florida, it's when the Pats played the Miami Squish the Fish. Remember that in '86? The Pats played the Miami Dolphins. So we took an RV down, and something happened in Fort Lauderdale. We never made it to Miami. We ended up having to go to West Palm Beach and hang out at a hotel and hide the RV and hide out for a week. So we ended up watching the game at West Palm Beach Hotel, but we were going down to watch Squish the Fish when the Pats played Miami Dolphins in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, and my brother's team was down there, and one of the players, Gavin something, someone hit him in the bar. So we waited for him outside, and what happened was ugly, and we ended up having to leave and go back home, but we stopped at West Palm Beach and watched the Pats game down there. But if you look, UMass Lowell won the national championship, not their league, not their district, not New England, national championship. They went to Minnesota to play, or they went to Green Bay, somewhere like that. We didn't go to the finals because we were afraid to go anywhere near after things that went down. But yeah, my brother was on the team, definitely. Pat Kane was the captain. Bobby Licari was the captain. He went to what's the big school up in Lowell or Methuen? What's Lynn Clark? No, the high school.
Oh shit.
They went to like Lawrence Academy or something shit like that. There. What's the other big high school that's really big high school that's up there? They all went there. And when they were shocked when they seen guys, because we brought from guys from Mission Hill that were real like bad dudes, you know what I mean? They were like tough guys. They were real tough dudes. So we were like barred, I think. We literally got barred from college basketball. Can you believe that? Shocking. But we did.
Do you keep up
My
with the
daughter
game now? Or?
What's that?
Do you keep up with college ball now?
Yeah, I used to watch it, but now it's hard watching with no one in it. It must be so difficult being young. It sucks. I used to go to the high school games. I went over to Westbridge, but when I got off the show, when I first moved down here, I got on the show a year later. So it became a big distraction where I was the same person before the show as you see now, the same person as on the show. But I would go to the game. I went to the West Bridgewater game, and it was a beautiful gym, by the way. They put a new They just put a new football field out there. It's right on the main highway. It's right on 106. Yeah. Beautiful. And when I would go to the games, it would cause a distraction. And I didn't want to take the poor kids from the game. You know what I mean? So I didn't go much.
Yeah. When did you go? Did you go to see the girls' games or the guys?
Yes. No, I went to the girls' games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to the girls' games. I went to one guy's games, and I forget what happened, but I mean, it was pretty cool because I would meet people like at Roach Brothers or at Homeboy Ball, and they would be like, listen, my daughter plays. Will you come watch her play? She'd be so excited. So I'd go, and then someone else would say, would you come? So I had to go to East Bridgewater, West Bridgewater, Bridgewater game. Yeah. So I was going all the time, And at Bridgewater, they got a young girl there now. She's going to be a junior now. She's really, really good. She was
East
good when she was a
Bridgewater?
At Bridgewater. She's like 6'3".
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
She's going to
6'4". She's going to Michigan.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. So
they
I
had a
would go to
couple
the
girls
game,
over there.
and it would distract them from the games. Like the cheerleaders and they wanted me to sign. The girls would be looking like, we're playing a game here. What the hell are you doing? So I was like, you know how I'd feel if it was me? So I just said, I'm not going to go to the game. I mean, even when I walk up and down here, people will stop. And I was like, man, I was so much cooler in 77 when I was in high school. Why did I have to go on a TV show for them to think I was cool? You know what I mean? But
well, back in the, and I mean, we're going to get into Big Brother, but back when you first came out, you did a meet and greet at
Prisco's.
Was it Prisco's? And I was at that meet and greet.
Did you really?
I remember.
Call my daughter. Hey, Mama! I gotta have my daughter come check you out. Lana, come here. What are you so handsome these guys are? She's gonna.
He's a taken man. We gotta be careful. He has a missus at home. We gotta be careful.
Come and look and see how handsome these guys are. Come on. This is what one of my. They went to Prisco's for the meet and greet. He went to UMass Lowell. Uncle Stevie went. Wait, come in. There's another guy. Hold on and say hi. Come on in. This is my daughter, my youngest, Olivia.
Hi, Olivia.
Look how handsome these guys are. I always do that. They get so mad at me. When we hang up here, they're gonna yell at me. Why'd you do that? Man, we were hanging out, chilling. What the hell are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah.
But I remember from that event, like you took the time. Most of those events, like I've done a lot of like.
Man, I was there 10 hours.
You were there all day long.
10 hours. I was sweating. You see me, right?
Yeah, I was one of the last people through the line, and I was like, I couldn't believe that you would take like as much time as it could.
Yeah, I would pick the young kids up and take pictures. Yeah, like parents dress their young kids the way I dressed on the show. So what did you want me to do, man? You want me to just tell them, hey, get that little kid out of here? So I would pick them up and take pictures, and I would take my time because I can't see anybody thinking they're more important than anyone else. And if you're going to wait in line to say hi to somebody because they want a show, the only thing you can return is be nice and take your time. Like the guy Steve from Prisco's is really cool. He was like, you don't have to stay. And I would look out and the line was like, seriously, like 200, 300 yards long. And I'd be like, no, I'm not leaving until all of these people, they came to say hi to me. You know what I mean? What do you want me to do? So I would, I had like 8 Big Brother players stay at my house that weekend.
That weekend?
Josh.
Oh, no kidding.
Well, no, the week after I had Josh,
for Thanksgiving.
Ramsey, Jason, Glenn, Lawan. I had like 12 of them. We all went down to Barrett's at midnight one night.
Which one? The Bridgewater one or the East Bridgewater? The West Bridgewater?
The one down by the transfer station. The one down by Citizens Bank in Bridgewater.
Okay, yeah.
Once we got in the door, we were mobbed, man. They were like they wouldn't let us go. Cost me like $200 to buy drinks down there.
John and I both went to Bridgewater State. We graduated from there.
Did you?
So.
I came out there to recruit in 78. And you got to remember. So I leave Mission Hill, and they pick me up. The coach picks me up. He drive me out. Back then, they didn't have all these buildings they have now there. It was one little building. Like Quinnipiac. I went down there, and Quinnipiac didn't have that science building they have now and all those nice gyms. They had like one building in the middle of freezing cold Connecticut. And I was like, man, I'm not going here, man. And then I went up. The worst one, they sent me up to the Black Bears up in Orono, right? Yeah, so they sent me and another kid from my high school, right? And we were supposed to stay the weekend. So I wore a long cashmere. And it was like 78. So we went to like a party. But you got to remember now, 78, they were like the good old boys. I wore a red cashmere. Like I looked like I was in I was like a gangster. They were like, what the fuck? And I was like, man, it was so cold. It was like a 5-hour drive. I was like, no way. And they played Marquette that weekend. With Al McGuire. Remember Al McGuire?
I don't remember.
The coach of Marquette. He was an NBC analysis, CBS, who used to do the games. Okay. Anyhow, he was up there. So we were invited to parties and all that stuff afterwards. But it was so far up there. I was like, I never could go here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's way up there.
Yeah,
that's way up
big time. Yeah, yeah.
I had a buddy that played baseball there at Maine.
Wow, they can only play baseball like what, 3 months, 4 months a year. They're gonna play indoors. They're gonna play indoors. Seriously.
They travel all over the place.
They go to Florida for the spring. Exactly. Yeah. Or South Carolina or places like that.
Yeah, I think even at Bridgewater, the people like for baseball and softball, they all take a trip to Florida every like for the
beautiful complex they have down in Bridgewater now. I mean, it's beautiful down there.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to the games, but on the games, I went to a homecoming weekend.
Yeah.
And it's safe to say that the 20-year-old kids were started like at 6 a.m. So you get the same stuff. Hey, Kevin from Big Brother, and I'm like, oh no, man! An 18-year-old who can't drink. What the hell is going on? Not again. I love you. Everyone says the same thing. My mother loves you. I'm like, what? How many mothers can love me, man? Come on, man. You can at least say you like the show and you enjoyed it. Instead of, they don't want to say that. They're like, my mother loved you. I'm like, what the hell does that mean, man? Your mother loved me, man. I'm not that. I'm old, but what does that mean?
Hey, I'll tell you, my mother loved you too on the show too.
Thank you. We're about to clear that up right now.
Speaking of the show, because I do want to get into it. Yeah, you were a contestant on Big Brother 19. Now, how'd you get on the show? Was it something that you planned from the beginning?
No. This is a true story, man. It's another story. So I'm in the kitchen, right? Yeah. And my daughters are talking. So I'm like, what? They're talking about this guy named Derek. I don't even know who he is. He was the one who won the show. So I go upstairs and I'm in bed and I'm watching. And a commercial comes on to try out for the show in Quincy Market at, I forget.
Ned Devine's. It was at Ned
Devine's.
Right,
so I said to my daughter, I bet you that I can get on that show. And she was like, no way. So listen, man, I have never taken an Amtrak or commuter rail in my life, ever. When I grew up, you didn't take no train. You drove Cadillacs or you didn't drive a car. You know what I mean? So I took the commuter rail down there. It was the coldest day. If you check it out, March 22nd of 17, I walked down to meet my daughter, worked at the aquarium. She was going to be 2 hours late. So I went over to Ned Devine. Now there was a kids your age, about 300, 400 of you, and they were all on their phone like this. So I was in a suit and a long jacket. I cut the line. Right? So I walked in like I own the place, and no one's saying nothing because I'm 6'3". So this dude comes up to me, he's like this big, and he pokes me in my chest, and he was like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Man, who do you think you're talking to, man?" And he was like, "Listen, are you here to try out for the show?" And I said, "Listen, man, don't worry about it." He said, "Well, I'm actually the casting director," and I said, "Oh, okay." So he brought me back there, and they interviewed me, and it just kept going and going and going, and I got on the show.
That's funny.
Once I mentioned how many kids I got, they would like, get the hell out of here. No way. I said, yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Steve here is being a little humble. Big Red Steve here. He is the biggest Big Brother fan.
I'm a huge Big Brother
ever
fan.
Met.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, they got tryouts coming up. How come you guys
He's tried out.
You? Oh, have you tried out?
I've tried out before, but I didn't know they're having. When's the tryouts coming out?
I know they're having a new season. I don't know if they're going to have them up here because of COVID, but I know they're having them in California. I went to a few tryouts afterwards. They would pay for you to go to I went to Rhode Island with Michelle. I went to New York. I went to, you know where I'm going? They're having a Big Brother boxing match against Canada. Did you see that?
Oh my God.
No. Who's fighting?
If I told you who's fighting, you're not going to believe it. Who do you think's fighting for my season? Who's the last person you really want to see fight for my season? Josh is fighting. Josh.
No, he isn't.
Yeah.
Josh is fighting?
Spoke to him.
Who's he fighting?
Like, it's Big Brother America versus Big Brother Canada.
Oh, okay.
He's fighting somebody who like a hockey player. I'm like, Josh, hockey players fight all the time. Hockey players fight just to get put in a box, man. What the hell are you doing, man? And he was like, yeah, so he's fighting. Fessy's fighting.
Oh, wow.
Casey's fighting. Who else is fighting? Enzo's fighting. I just talked to Enzo.
Oh, Enzo. Enzo's fighting.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
He said, you got any advice? I said, keep your left up. He put back a mojo laughing. Thank you. I said, you better keep your left up. You know what I mean?
Those guys, Casey, Josh, and
Fessy and on the challenge.
Fessy are all on the challenge. Yeah, I watched that too.
Real good people, man. Every one of them that you mentioned, excellent. You got to remember, man, when Josh was 23, you get $500,000 and you win all that at 23 years old. Imagine if that happened to me. Man, I won a dunk contest at 20, and I thought I was the coolest guy in the world. Imagine winning a national TV show. I didn't even vote for him. I know. I voted for Paul because the criteria, they had met with us before, like the weekend before the final vote comes up. Yeah. They send in producers who meet with you, and they go over this structured format like this. And they're like, so what you want to do is vote not for who you like personally. You want to vote for who you think played the best, won the most comps, controlled the show, did this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. Because if I could have chance to vote personalities, I would have voted for Josh. But I thought Paul played the best game.
I thought so too.
It was a critical thing. But Paul played the best game. But the key of the game is to keep your jury management. And he didn't do that. So, you know what I mean? So
that's the thing. Everyone was ticked off at Paul throughout the whole season, but he was I mean, he got everyone to throw that challenge.
He had me con. I thought I was going to the final two, man. I lost the race to a girl with a broken leg. Come on, man.
That was an unbelievable
When I got back to my neighborhood, you know what they said to me, man? We were at the neighborhood bar, and they looked over at me like, come on, Kevin, really? You couldn't beat that girl with the book? I was like, man, listen, man, it was all worked out that way. And I said, I won the first night, 25,000. They were like, you know what? That's right, Kevin, you did it. Forget about that. But it was all worked out that. And I was literally told, if you don't follow the format, that you're going to be the next voted off. So I was like, really? So I was like, Jesus, I didn't know. I didn't know everyone else. I didn't know the whole point of the show was to deceive each other. You know what I mean? Whoever has the best deception wins, makes it to the end. So I just used social game to make it to the end. You know, a lot of those comps were done at 3, 4 in the morning.
Really?
Yes, because
they do
the
them that
sun's so
late?
bright. Yeah, you know what? The sun is so bright in the summer in LA that you would go to bed at 10 or 11 o'clock. I would always tell stories and talk and hang out. So I'd stayed up till 3, 4 in the morning. And then at 3:30 in the morning, start to doze off. They would be like, house guest, please get dressed and be at the back door in 20 minutes. I'd be like, what are you kidding me, man? Everyone else had already slept 6 hours. I didn't sleep at all. So we'd get out there, and then you had to hold your hand against the thing, hold the thing up like this. And I'd be like, man, fuck this. I ain't doing this thing, man. I'd be freezing like this, because by that time it got cold. They would put a top over the top. You know what I mean? So it would stay cool in there. So it'd be like too cold. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the things, everyone knew who was going to win going in. And a lot of it, production controls. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't see them have no basketball shoot. Let's play a game of 21 and see who's going to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead, they would have like, who's going to spin their head and then walk up a thing. Who the hell's going to do that, man? I wasn't going to do that. You know? So it was really peculiar, man.
Does production, you said, do they really have do they kind of, from your outside perspective, do you think they kind of push like chips a certain way to kind of depend on what
my opinion on my outside perspective is, and I mean, it's not going to make any difference to say it now. I think production cares about one thing and one thing only, and that's ratings. Yeah. So if they feel to get to the final 5 would be Paul, Josh, me, Christmas, whoever else was, is going to be best for ratings, they were right, because that show had some of the best ratings they ever had. Right. Now, whether you like me or like Paul or like Josh or like Christmas, they don't really care individually what happens to our life afterwards. You know what I mean? They care on that Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday night, how many people were tuning in. That's all they care about. That's what makes them the money. And you have shows. I see The Bachelor, you get 1.3 million people watch. We would get 9, 10, 11 million people watching our season. You know what I mean?
That was a great season.
Oh, yeah. It was, whether you disliked it or not, people watched it. A lot of people watched basketball to watch Michael Jordan field, watch golf to watch Tiger field. A lot of people liked them, wanted them to win, but a lot of people wanted to see them field. Same with our show. A lot of people watched it because they disliked Paul. A lot of people watch it because they dislike John. No one disliked me. I'm a nice guy. Man. What the fuck? You know what I mean? But that's what they wanted. They wanted ratings, and you can't blame them. I mean, that's what when you're a casting director or production director, and you get ratings of 2 million, and then another show at the same slot time is getting 8 million. You're not going to be working too long. You know what I mean? So did they jeopardize, or did they take into consideration what was going to happen after we got off the show? How we were going to be criticized, or how you're not going to be criticized? Because again, I don't get criticized much. I mean, if I met 100 people in the last month, 99 liked me or said hi. One would have went, hey, You know, and I'd be like, "No, fuck, relax. What, I owe you money? Do I owe you money or something? Like, what the hell is that?" But I mean, imagine being Josh's age, and because Josh may say some things that people take out of context, and he gets some negativity about, you know what I mean? And Paul may get negative stuff, and other people may get negative stuff. So I don't know what I would do if I was their age. You know what I mean? I really don't. I mean, I came home to a family I still had when I left. I came home, even if I won the $500,000. I mean, I lost $500,000 in betting during football season. You know what I mean? $500,000, you know, after they tax it. But what happens is a lot of times it goes there, and you got to give Josh credit, and you got to give the last couple people credit. I mean, Casey, really nice girl, really nice girl. I mean, imagine giving me at 23 years old $500,000 goddamn dollars, man. You would probably see us at the horse track or at a casino, and there'd probably be a few arrests. There'd definitely be a few people. Would definitely have records. You know what I mean? And I don't mean the ones you play on the turntable.
Well, hey,
but it's
we'll meet you down at Foxwoods after this is all over.
No, definitely. No. You know, we'll go to the Encore.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. You know what? I haven't been there, and I've heard all good things. I want to go there.
Shit, really?
Yeah.
You have
I'm
to
a big
go.
Foxwoods guy.
My friend runs it. I used to go down there when Foxwoods first opened. I went to it, but I had so many kids in between. It's really hard, man, because I was one of these guys when I was younger. Me and my brothers. My dad was really never around. He was around. He was a notable person in the neighborhood. Excuse me. Everyone knew him. Everyone knew him as the guy in the bar who was there that no one bothered, but he was really never there. So I always was there for all of my kids' sports. Like I went to every sporting event. I never missed a sporting event. So I really didn't get to go to the casinos much, but I'm a degenerate gambler. I mean, look, this is just for tonight.
You could be holding $1 million ticket right there.
Yeah, no shit. Huh? After they tax me and take all that, I'll get like $5. They'll throw me out. I'll be living in an RV. I'll be living in an RV in your driveway. So, Mom and Dad, leave the guy alone. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you, my friend.
I was also interested. Also, what was like the best part? Like I know there's a lot of like, you know, it's tough being in the house with cut off, being watched every day for almost the entire summer. But what was like probably one of your favorite parts or memories from that summer?
Oh, there's not even close, man. When we would get together at night.
Yeah.
So here's what happened. I would tell George, because you got to remember, he was only 22, and I had like 6 kids older than him. So I'd be like, listen, when Josh comes in, I would tell stories. They thought I was making these stories up. But I would tell real stories about what happened in my neighborhood. You know, when there'd be a shootout in the bar I was in, and someone gets shot in the leg, and someone else would get shot, and they'd be like, so Josh goes into the shower. So I tell everyone, I said, when Josh comes out of the shower, everyone start laughing. Like I had already told the story. So I can remember, I'm going to tell you, I can remember this vividly. So Josh comes out of the shower with the towel around him, and he called me Kevin. And I don't let many people call me Kevin, but I would let him call me because we were on national TV. What are you going to do, you know? Yeah. So I'd be like, Kevin, did you tell the story? And I had everyone laugh already, and they were like, oh, he already told the story. And he'd be like, Kevin, what the fuck? I wanted you to wait for me to tell me the story, man. And I was like, don't worry, man. I got a good story for you. So he'd get all comfortable in bed, him and Mark. And Josh is my height. Josh is a big dude. Josh is 6'2", 230. Mark is 6'3", 260. They would sit down and wait for those stories. Like that would be it, man. It'd be like putting your kids to bed when they were little. You know what I mean?
A little bedtime story, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And Jason would be laying right next to me, the cowboy, and he's like 6'4". He's a big dude. And he'd be laughing so hard that I couldn't finish the story, man. I would be in my corner, I'd be in my corner, and Jason would be right. So Jason, you know what he did? I started telling stories one night, and I remember him not laughing. So I'm looking over like, is he asleep? And he would put his cowboy hat on him like he was fucking Rex Trailer or something, you know what I mean? Or, John Wayne or something like that. So I'd be like, so he's not laughing at my story. I'm like, what's going on? This guy, he wanted me to stop talking so much. He put earplugs in. So he'd be like this. He would take them out because you can't have earplugs in because the whole point of the show is at night when they would do the live feeds is that you have to keep the live feed people entertained. So if you whispered or if you covered your mouth, if you shut the light off, they would see from the computer who the people on the live feeds were watching, and they would put the lights on automatically. And you'd be like, who the fuck just put the lights on? And they'd be like, Kevin, if you're going to talk, you have to keep the lights on. And I'm like, and I never went into the DI. I'd go in the DI and I said, I don't understand. And they were like, Kevin, people pay for live feeds. And I said, you trying to tell me that people watch us 24 hours a day? And they were like, guys, who the hell pay? And they were like, Kevin, don't say that when you get out there. You can't say that. Because I'd be like, who wants to pay to watch someone 24 hours a day? So for the first month, I didn't realize a red light would come on. And Josh would be cool. I mean, not just Josh, all of them, Ramsey, everyone, Kevin, this and that. And then when that red light would come on, they would start yelling out their Instagram tags, and they would start. I'd be like, "What the hell is going on?" And Josh he said, "Kevin, it's on the live feeds." I said, "What's that mean?" He said, "It means people on the East Coast. If it's 11 o'clock there, it's 2 in the morning there. They'd be watching us, and then in the West Coast, they'd be watching." And I said, 24 hours a day. So they all knew what was going on. While I didn't actually realize that people would be watching, and then there'd be a computer that would say what most of the people were watching, and then the camera would go to that. Let's say you had 6 cameras, all in different rooms, and most of the people who are on the computer, 80% of them are watching me tell a story in one room. They would turn all the 5 other cameras onto my room, so only one room would be on. You know what I mean? And right. I guess my was entertaining, so they would stay there They would stay a lot of the times where I was. You know what I'm saying? They would stay there. Because
I can believe it.
Who the hell wants to watch people sleep, man? I mean, I understand. They're very attractive people, very attractive, and I agree with that. But I mean, only attractive only goes so far. I mean, what are you going to watch, an attractive person snore? I don't know what you're going to do. You know what I mean? So when I knew that, I would start talking at night and telling stories, and they thought I was making the stories up, man. I would tell stories about John the Meat Man. In my neighborhood, there was this guy, he came out of Vietnam. He had a drug problem, and he would steal meat to make a living. And he was called the Meat Man. You know what I mean? So I would tell stories about John the Meat Man, and people would call me in the DI and says, Kevin, you can't tell stories from like movies. I was like, movies? These are true stories. What the hell are you talking about? And they were like, there was a real guy named John. I said, yeah, John the Meat Man. Unfortunately, he ended up dying. But yeah, he would put in 2 pairs of pants and tape them up, put the meat down his legs, and he'd come up with, oh yeah, man, you'd have a whole refrigerator full of steaks for months. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think that's maybe a future business venture is to make a movie or a book. I think
absolutely. I wouldn't believe it. There's too many people still alive. I can't say much there. You know what I mean? You can't walk the neighborhood, But yeah, that's a true story, man. That was some fun times. You got to remember, man, like I said, in August, I'm going to be 60. So most of these kids on the show are early 20s, at the most, late 20s. I mean, the oldest person they've had was Enzo, and he wasn't even born when I was out of high school. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I mean, that just goes to show you. I met him out in really nice guy. He's a real New York or Jersey guy. Talks like this. Always
seems
moving.
like
I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this dude? And he's like, what's up, Kevin? But really cool dude. Really cool dude. You know what I mean? A New Jersey guy, I think, but really nice guy. Yeah. I have no complaints about anyone I met in the show. Everybody I met, I mean, you got to understand, when you're dealing with people, I'm 35, 36 years older than everybody. So it's hard to navigate through that. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, who's your favorite rapper? I'll say, Nas. They're like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, who's yours? and they'll say, Tyler, the Creator. I say, who created what? What the hell is that? Oh man, what the hell are you talking about? Go back to old school stuff like that, EPMD and stuff like that. But yeah, it was difficult, and then it's hard, and also I've had kids their age. I mean, no matter, I have a 34, 31, 30, 29, 22, 27, 25, 23, 21, 20. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's like I'm like in the Big Brother house right now. You know what I mean? So what the hell's the difference?
It was like a seamless transition just going in.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing. Yeah, matter of fact, it was a break. It was so cool for the first 2 months. And then when it got down to where there was only 6 people left.
Yeah.
And then it got down to 5 people left. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what? And I went this close. this close to going off and like getting violent, and they called me in the DI. And the only time they ever called me in, and they were like, Kevin, if you do anything and you hit anybody, you're going to lose, because they already had won 25,000, and you get like 25 for being. So that's like a $50,000 punch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, that's a good point, man.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna say no more. I ain't never said another fucking word. I said, ain't no one in this house worth hitting no $50,000.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah.
No punch is worth $50K.
No, I'll take a punch for $50K, but I ain't giving one for $50K. Oh, shit.
So I was gonna ask you. You kind of already talked about it, but is there anyone still from the show or your other shows that you still talk to from that?
Oh man, what are you kidding me? I talk to on my season. There may be 5 people I don't talk to, and you got to understand. It's not that I don't talk to them. Like, let's just say, hypothetically, Raven. She's a 24-year-old young girl who lives in Arkansas. Like,
right.
What? At 1 a.m, if I text her, "Hey, hon, what are you doing?" Like, what the? So it's not like I wouldn't talk to them. Do I get along with everybody? Yeah. I mean, people on social media make me argue with this person. That I get along with everyone. Remember, what would be the point? Let's say I'm 60 in August. Let's say that's a 3/4 of your life. You make it to 80. And my neighborhood making it to 80 is like fucking not many people did. So what are you going to, in 20 years left, I'm going to fight with 23-year-old people about someone saying that I threw a comp on a TV show 4 years ago. You got to be fucking kidding me, man. I just beat cancer. You expect that I'm going to fight with someone saying, "Oh, you didn't vote for me," or you put me on the block, where in fact I never even actually won a HOH, so I didn't put nobody on the block. But no, I think life's too short. I think you got to enjoy what you got a chance to do. You know what I mean? I spent an eventful time. Being on Big Brother was, of course. I mean, I was a Boston neighborhood. Everyone knew me, but then you grow up, you have kids, and you get older, and I got another chance to restart and do something new. And you're going to complain about it? No, I would never complain. Look, I'm here with you now. Otherwise, how would me and you have met?
Yeah, that's right.
If Roach brought it, I would say, "Can you help me bring my bags to the fucking car, man? I'll throw you a 20, man." This fucking guy's a weird mother. You know what I mean? But no, I think everyone should be humble and appreciate what the chance they got. I mean, only one person can win, guys.
Right.
And I mean, I didn't win no comps at the end when it counted. So how can you complain? What did you want? Just someone hey, you're a tall, good-looking guy. You got 9 kids. Come on, you should win. No, that shit don't go. That's not how things go. You know what I mean? If I had, but I will say this on my behalf. The only thing I was here on my behalf, I never watched the show ever in my life. I didn't know anybody from the show. When Paul came through the door, I thought he was bringing pizza. I didn't know who he was. I didn't know he was on the year before. My daughters used to come up to the room and say, "Dad, please watch the show, please." And I'd be like, I didn't know what OTEV was. I didn't know what POV was. I didn't know what nothing was. I did not know when we got in there that you basically never see another human being for 88 days. You don't see production. Even when you go in the DR, they talk to you to a camera. They hide behind walls. You never see them. I've never seen a production person ever while I was on that show. Not one time, until Christmas broke her leg and they locked everything down. And people would be outside with microphones and they would yell stuff like "Paul sucks" or "Kevin sucks," and you could hear them. But you never seen, besides those 16 people you were with, and each week you eliminated one. I've never seen another human being until the finale night. Never seen another human. Yes, and I'm telling you, that's how strict they are. They're so disciplined, and it's so well orchestrated that you think you know. When you get deprived someone of love, or deprive someone of being hugged, or deprive someone of someone telling them they care about them, I don't care how long. After 30 days, 60 days, you start trying to look for it any way you can. I'm telling you, man, the show, whoever wrote the show is a genius, because even me, who's strong-minded, at the end, I was like, man, fuck this. I'd rather just send me home. I had enough, man. I can't take no more. And I didn't even get to go to the jury house. I went to a hotel. I made it to the end. I never went to jury. When I left, they picked me up in a limousine, brought me to a hotel blindfolded. Let me in a hotel. I watched Back to the Future 25 times because no other movie watched, and they had my room taped off. You had no TV, no phone. You have to knock on your door. There'd be a young intern, 22-year-old girl sitting outside the door, one from 3 different shifts, from 7 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon to 11, 11 till 7 in the morning. And they would open the door, and I'd be like, oh, man. I'd be like, hon, is there any way I can get some bacon and eggs, please? And they would, 20 minutes later, and they would be on the ground, bacon and eggs. They wouldn't even talk to me. I would even say to her, hey, hon, who won the fight? Who won the Floyd Mayweather fought against Conor McGregor while we were in there.
Oh, my God.
And I tried to ask the girl, I was like, hon, I know you can't talk. I'm just going to say a guy's name. If he won the fight, shake your head. And she just closed the door. And then you had a phone that you could only get called in, or if you call out, it goes right to production. And they were like, Kevin, you can't ask no one who won the fights. I was like, what the fuck? And then, so the first night we get out, right? The show ended. They were like, hey, Kansas City beat your Patriots the first game of the year. I said, what? The Pats lost to Kansas City? They were like, yeah. But we ended up winning the Super Bowl that year, so it didn't matter. But yeah, no, you're deprived of everything. So that's why you start seeing people clinging to other people hugging each other, showmances. How was I supposed to have a showman when I had like more kids at home than anyone in the show? And the next person even close to me was only when I was really close with like that we would sit together and talk. It was Christmas. And she was still 21 years younger than me. You know what I mean? I mean, they were 22-year-old girls. They were 23-year-old girls. They were beautiful young girls. But I mean, I was 56. I turned 56 in the show. They had a birthday party for me.
I remember. I think I remember them doing that. Something.
Yeah, it's really hard to navigate. Now, if I had someone I could have a showman's with, and you could carry that through, now that's someone on your side the whole time that you could trust. I mean, I didn't have nobody at the end that was like that. So I just got to the end. When I knew I was going to be leaving, there's no sense causing a fuss about it. If I had won some comps, then I would have controlled my own destiny. But I had lost the comp, so no sense getting mad. So I just come to the resolution, hey, man, you had a good run. You're doing pretty good. Maybe you get to go to Jury House and watch some movies, but I didn't get to go to Jury House, man. I had to go back to the hotel, man. I know. Yeah.
Wrapping up, Big Brother. Big Red is a big fan of the show. What is any advice to anyone listening to get on the show? What would you say?
Simple as that. One simple thing, as I already brought up earlier, is the show is predicated and demanded and made through rating. The show's not made through Kevin Schlehuber, Mission Hill. That they liked me because of that, because I was dressed in suit. I brought 12 suits to the goddamn show. I thought we were going out to dinner on the weekend. I swear to you on my brother. I thought on the weekend we were going to get in vans and they were taking us to dinner. When I went down there and I had 12 suits, production came into my room, 15 people. And they were like, why did you bring so many suits? And I was like, what do you mean? Why did I bring so many suits? Don't we get to go out to have dinner? And they were like, are you serious? And they were like, that suit, you can't. So they took all my suits away except for the solid colors. If you watch me in the show, I wore 3 different suits, all solid colors. They took away the non-solid colors. And I didn't realize that. And the thing I would tell everyone is you don't want to say, oh, I play like this person does, or I play like this Derek does, I play like this. You want to be your own person, and you want to bring something to the show that's going to bring rating. All they want is to be a successful casting director. And in order to be a successful casting director, you got to cast people that make the show successful. You don't want to cast somebody who goes on the show and like, yeah, I want to play like Paul. I think I'm going to grow a beard, man. Wasn't he cool? No one wants to hear that no more. No one wants to hear it. They want you to be yourself. It's 2021 now. When my season, I think I was like a novelty. Because, I mean, I think everyone's been on the show for the last 20 years, added up, don't have as many kids as I have. You know what I mean? And I've been married now 35 years. You know what I mean? And I was a city guy, and I talked fast, and I wore suits, and I could socialize. I could get along with everybody. And if I had won a few comps, maybe things would have changed. But I think anybody who tries out, don't go in there being someone different. It's 2021. Just be yourself. If they don't like you, just accept it. They don't want you. But if you go in there and try to fool them, you know how many people go in there trying to fool them? Right. You know what I mean? I mean, they're negative as it becomes. You know what I mean? The guy tried to throw me up. You know how we met? He poked me in my chest. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Man, if there wasn't 300 people looking, I would have been like, listen, man, are you out of your mind, man? Don't ever poke me in my chest again. But he was like, and then the kid Derek came over to me and started talking. And he was like, hey, Chris, this dude's got like so many kids. Why are you dressed up like that? I said, what do you mean? Why are you dressed up like that? And he was like, so I just kept getting called back. But the bottom line is, as anyone who has any as intelligent has watched it for years, like you guys have, the whole thing's about ratings. It's simple as that. It's only about rating. And they're going to put people on the show who maybe, number one, maybe controversial. Number two, maybe different than everyone else. Why would they put on, I guess at the beginning, they put on 16 people that were all the same, young, good-looking college kids, you know what I mean? Now it's not the same. They want people who bring something different. They don't want the people. A lot of people would say they were from Boston. Well, actually, no one's actually from Boston. I was actually from Boston. I grew up right in the city. You know, you can't get no closer to Boston where I grew up. You know what I mean? I could hear, when the Red Sox hit a home run, I could hear it. I grew up a mile from Fenway Park, 1 mile. Yeah, so I don't know. I would just say be yourself and understand that they're not there to be friends with you, and they don't want you to be like, kiss their ass. They want you to say, you know what, maybe this person, this guy, this girl, yes, this person can bring ratings to the show. We should get them on. They'll be interesting. Whether you have a lethargic look, whether you have a cool look, a sophisticated look, a different look, any kind of look, they want ratings. Simple as that. No, there's nothing else to say. I mean, I'd like to say that they want people who graduated MIT or Harvard, but then they wouldn't have had me on. Although I was fired from Harvard. No, we got fired from Harvard, me and my boys, in 78. We couldn't even go over the Mass Ave Bridge. I'm not kidding you. We used to steal bikes over at Harvard, and we used to get fired. We got fired from Harvard. Yes, we got fired in 1978. We would bolt cutters. You know what bolt cutters are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, someone would put them down their leg, and we would take the bus over the Mass Ave Bridge, park the bikes, and ride them back. And they stopped us coming over the bridge one night and said, listen, just turn around and don't come back. We were like, all right, we won't come back. Yeah.
Well, I think that's great advice. And I know
that's about it. That's all you can say. I mean, think about
be
it. If
yourself.
you look at their perspective, think about their perspective. You know what I mean? When you go in, don't look at like my perspective. Don't go in there dressed up. I don't care, like anybody wearing basketball outfit. They want you to just be yourself, because in the long run, after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, the true you is going to come out. You can only hide behind as you've seen in my season. You know what I mean? Everyone started off really cool at the beginning. At the end, it was like, what the fuck? Relax. I don't want to fight with you, man. Chill out.
Yeah, everyone's on their best behavior the first week or two, and then that's it.
Exactly.
The gloves come off.
Once someone puts someone on the block, and they're like, listen, I'm only putting you on the block for your best interest. It's your best interest. My best interest? What the fuck? What do you mean, my best interest? I don't want to be on the block, man.
Moving away a little bit from Big Brother into more Boston sports, because we do a lot of Boston sports here.
Cool. You know Josh Nolan? He does the Bruins games. He has his own podcast. He does them across the street at the Greatest Bar.
Oh, yeah.
Josh is his name?
Yeah.
Josh, good kid. He just got married. He's having a baby.
I think I've listened to his podcast before, yeah.
Yeah, he's a real good kid, yeah.
Now, they just said, I don't know if you probably heard, they announced that they're going to start allowing fans in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Boston games. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, like
we were
20%.
talking about. Yeah, we were talking about it. We didn't hear the news before last podcast, but I know Danny Football and I were talking about that last week, and we were very excited. But opening day should be having fans.
Opening day to us in the 70s, early 70s was so big. After the first inning, Mr. Gary was our neighbor. He worked there as, one of the guys like people in and out. And at the end of the first inning in the early 70s, no one went to the games. They went for the first 2 innings. So me and my brothers and friends, after the second inning, we get in for free and we watch all the game. And then they got really good with Lynn, Rice, Dwight Evans and all them in like 75, 76. So then we had to wait till like the fifth and sixth inning to get into the game. Yeah. You know who I used to hang with too? Used to come to my house. I used to go to his house, was DJ, Dennis Johnson.
No kidding.
Yeah, when my brother was sick and was passing away in 1985, 86, at the Beth Israel. DJ used to go up to the hospital. He'd bring Dominique Wilkins, Spud Webb.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
They used to all go up to the hospital. Me and DJ, I used to go to his house in Lexington and hang out. His brother lived with me in an apartment for like 3 months.
Really?
Dennis Johnson, yeah. I was in the locker room. I have a shirt signed given to my brother by the 86 Celtics. Scott Wedman, Larry Bird, Danny Ainge, Parrish, McHale, DJ, Gerald Henderson, David Thirdkill. They used to come up to my house and be like, guys, listen, man, you can't come up with Mercedes-Benz at 3 in the morning to our house, man. There'd be like 7 Mercedes-Benz out in front of our house at 3 in the morning. We were like, you can't do that, man. But yeah, DJ and me were really close. He lived in Lexington. He was a sweetheart of a guy. Just so nice of a guy. So
and
nice.
all the stuff that I've like seen on him, he seems like he was one of the greatest guys.
Listen, this man went up. This man befriended me because I was the doorman at the Metro. So I used to walk around in a tuxedo outside and pick who you want to come in the club. You thought you were cool. And I became good friends with DJ. And this man used to go to the hospital with me at 2 in the morning after the club and stay and sit with me and my brother. My brother was dying at the time. He ended up dying on April 30th of 86. And DJ used to come to the hospital with me. He gave me his shirt. He brought up a few of the Atlanta Hawk players. He used to go out. We used to hang in a place called the Carmen, which is in Copley Square, the Marriott right there. Up above, there used to be a club called the Carmen. We used to hang in there. And DJ was really tight. I used to go to his house for dinner. His wife, Donna, was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful person. They were just so nice, man. I think they were a little shocked by our neighborhood, too. But he was just a sweetheart of a guy, man. Sweetheart. I was one night working the club, and I was with Prince in the back room. And Prince gave me his tambourine to bring to my brother. So I got a purple tambourine that says Love God.
My God.
That Prince gave me in 1980, may have been December of 85. Prince gave me a tambourine. And he even said, Kevin, I would go up to visit your brother, but it would be too much of because my brother was in the ICU. And he gave me a tambourine that says Love God. And they're really nice people, man. I would say DJ was probably one of the nicest people I've ever met in the basketball world. And Prince was probably one of the nicest. Everyone had such a bad idea of Prince. They put him in a category and this and that. Just the nicest guy I ever talked to, man. I was in the green room with him for like 2 hours. He was just so nice. He was so cool. And he was just a sweetheart. And he gave me I have his tambourine upstairs. It says Love God, a purple tambourine that I gave to my brother.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, really cool.
Really nice people.
Really one.
It's nice when you see that, like when you see like a famous like sports player like Prince.
Oh, you got to remember DJ in '86, man. The Celtics were like, come on, man. You if we walked up to a venue and they were having a concert and I was with DJ, it didn't matter if we had 30 people with us. You went right in the door. It didn't matter. And DJ would just laugh. He wouldn't say nothing. He was quiet. They used to practice up at Helena College. You know where that is? By Los Anderson and Brookline. You know what Jamaica Pond is? You know what Jamaica Pond is?
Yeah.
Okay, up in the back is Helena College. It's a Greek school. That's where the Celtics used to practice. And I used to go meet DJ and pick him up after practice, drive him home. We used to hang out, go to the clubs together at night.
That's one of my favorite teams, the '86 Celtics. That's one of my favorite teams.
I have the shirt. If I could go up to my room and find it, I have the actual shirt, game shirt, signed by all of the '86. Bill Walton, Wedman. I was in L.A. I went with the L.A. owner, Jerry Buss's daughter. Yeah. I went to the Lakers game in November 13th. Yes, and Bill Walton was there, and I told him about it. And he signed the shirt, and Jazz was with me. I brought Jazz from Mission with me, and Bill Walton was like, man, I love this story. He was there talking with us and hung out at the restaurant with us because we were on UCLA's campus. And I was walking through the campus, and this kid comes by. He's like 7'1". So I'm walking with him, and I said, obviously you play basketball, huh? And he was like, yeah, real good. You're a real smart fucking guy. I was like, listen. So these girls came running over, and they were like, can we have an autograph? And they were asking me, and he was like, who are you? And I was like, I was on a TV show. And he was like, I said, I'm going to the Lakers game tonight. And he said, my dad will be there. I said, oh, really? Who's your dad? And he said, Shaquille O'Neal. I said, get the he was like, so I FaceTime my daughter. And she's like, Dad, please don't. Please. Yes, his son plays for UCLA. He's switching out to LSU. Yeah. And it was his son played for UCLA. And I was walking through the campus with him. I didn't know it was Shaq's son. I had no idea. Yeah.
That's
and he was like, why do people want your autograph? I said, only two reasons. Either I owe the money or the Big Brother fan. They don't get the Boston jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a fucking joke. I think his name is
Sharif.
Yeah. He's like 7'1", man.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
a big guy. He's huge.
He's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So
Bill Walton, I was telling him how we used to go down to the games. I was in the locker room when they won the 86 championship with DJ.
Really?
Yeah, because my brother had just passed. Yes, my brother had passed. They didn't win back then until June. The season didn't end. And that was one of the best teams ever. I mean, they had Ainge, DJ, Bird, McKill, and Parrish start. Then they had already traded Maxwell. They had Gerald Henderson. No, did Henderson still play? They had Scott Whiteman. Okay, they had Scott Whiteman, Bill Walton, right? They had
he was the sixth man. Bill Walton was the sixth man that year.
Listen, man, they had a great team. Really, really. I have a shirt, actual game shirt signed by them, and a Tamarine by Prince. People are telling me to put it on. I said, man, I don't want. What am I going to sell them for? What are you going to sell them? If someone else take it, it means nothing to no one else like it meant to me. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was really cool back then. We were so cool back. I don't know what the hell happened. We were so cool back then. Man.
Did you get to hold the trophy in '86 or?
I'm going to be dead honest with you. By the time the games would end, you got to remember it was '86. So, later, Coach, you don't mind. I had just already left. You know what I mean? We had already started up. You know what I mean? And
the train had left the station.
Yeah. Elvis has left the building. Yeah, exactly. But no, of course I did. DJ, they all get to take it to their house. DJ, his brother lived with me, Steve Johnson. He had a brother named Joe Johnson. They call the Skywalker. We jump out of the building. And his brother Steve lived with me and my brothers in our neighborhood until we got into a fight and I don't know what happened. Someone got put into something happened anyhow. And Steve Johnson never came back after that. But it was a volatile time. It was, my brother was dying. Everyone was young. I was only 25, 24 years old. We were real tough guys. We lived in a tough neighborhood. You lived in neighborhoods where the bars, you didn't go in the bar if you weren't from there. If you came into the bar in '86 and you were dressed like that, you ordered a beer, they would charge you $50. You'd be like, what? And they were like, hey, you get two options. You pay $50 for the beer, you get the fuck out of here. So you'd be like, all right, forget it. And you would just leave. So it was all neighborhood bars. I remember I was modeling and I made the cover of a national magazine. And someone brought it into the bar at 2 a.m. And literally, I was on the cover with a beautiful girl. And they made fun of me and were calling me names. And I was like, listen, man, they were paying me $150 an hour. But you still didn't tell no one that you were modeling in a magazine, 1986, in my neighborhood. You just didn't tell them. It just didn't go over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just said, fuck it. I had won Mr. Massachusetts. I was Mr. Massachusetts in '86.
We're looking at Slam Dunk champion, Mr. Massachusetts.
Yeah. But you couldn't talk about that in my neighborhood. You could tell me with the Slam Dunk champ, but you couldn't say, hey, because I would say I was Mr. Massachusetts. You know what they would say to me? What? You got no muscles? I'd be like, it's not muscles, man. It's like this new thing they're doing. It's like, dressed up, conservative, cool type guy. What the fuck? That ain't you. What are you talking about? I was like, all right, just forget about it, man. Just forget about it, will you? Yeah. And then my brother had just passed in '86. I won Mr. Mass September 13th of '86 at Salem State College. And then we went down to New York, to Times Square, to the hotel that has the elevators you can see outside. And my family got into a fight in the lobby in the middle of while the pageant was going on. So I didn't make it to the top 10. They were like, these fucking people are fucking crazy. So I was like, they come knocking on my door and I was like, what's up? It was 2 a.m. I was roommate with Mr. Minnesota because, Massachusetts, Minnesota. And like, what's up? And they're like, Kevin, your family's in a fight. I said, what? We're in New York, Times Square. Yeah, downstairs in the lobby. I was like, what? And I guess they did like thousands of dollars worth of damage to the. I don't know what happened, man. You know what happens when you go to UMass Lowell play hockey. Come on, you know what happens after 12 pack of Schlitz or something like that. The fuck. So I was like, oh my god. I was like, Dad, what happened, man? And I guess someone in the elevator said something. I don't know what happened. And anyhow, I ended up going down there. I came in the top 10 by Mr. Georgia won Mr. Middle America. I came in the top 10. I was Mr. Massachusetts, and me and Minnesota were really good friends for like years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny. I never knew that. I never knew you were
Yeah.
Mr. Massachusetts.
Yeah, man. Hold on. I'll show you something. I'll see if I can find it. Because you'll die laughing, man. You won't believe it. Yeah, I was young. I don't know. I just lost my brother, and my mother sent the picture in. So this guy called me up, and I hung up on him. I thought he was joking. I was like, what? And he said, listen, are you going to come to the pageant? I was like, what? So I went to Salem State, and I won the whole thing. So they sent me down to New York. Me and Booba went down, and then when my family came down, all hell broke loose, man. I don't know what happened. I ended up getting, I didn't make it. I don't think they wanted me to represent the Mr. Male America pageant, so I don't know what happened. But I was in, I'll show you. I have some pictures here. I can't find them right now, but I still have the sash. Yeah, I still have it, man. And they made you come out, right? And you had to get like they had underwear people sponsored. So you had to come out in like bikini under. I was like, oh man, come on, man. I don't want to do that. But I did, yeah. And I ended up winning the whole thing. And I went down there, and my family came down. But again, my brother had just passed. So it was a really volatile time. But it was fun. When you look back at it now, you can't make this shit up. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. If you look at it, I can't find it now, but it's on there somewhere. Look at all these pictures. I didn't even believe I have all these pictures. Look at this. Pictures for years ago. Oh, here you go.
Oh, move it a little over to the oh, there he is.
Can you see it, or is the light blocking?
Yeah, look at that.
I see it. The light's blocking a little bit, but look at him. Oh.
Yeah. I was Mr. Massachusetts, man.
That's Mr. Massachusetts.
Can you believe that bullshit? I couldn't believe it. And then I got signed to a contract. Listen, man, they had me sign a contract. I was going to go to Italy. I was going to make $250 a week. I was going to room with 3 other guys in Milan. They would have a car that you would share, and at the end of the 6 months, you would make $50,000. They would give you, and I didn't show up. I didn't show up to sign the contract. I stayed out and didn't show up. So I called them and said, "Listen, can we reschedule?" And they hung up on me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah. That's a true story. And then the girl that I had met got pregnant, and the rest is history. We got married, and we had a kid 87, 89, 91, 93, 94, 97, 98, and 99. So when I come home, because we had the kids all the time. Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite team if you had to pick one? Are you more of a Patriots guy, Celtics?
Oh, not even close. No, not even close. 2 teams. Only 2 teams in my eyes. Although I don't want to say that because you're young, you like the Patriots. I've never been to a football game in my life, ever.
Oh, really?
Never. No. My hero in every Boston sports team you could ever imagine is Bobby Orr. Not even close. It's not even close, man. Bobby Orr is up here, and then DJ, and then Bill Russell, John Havlicek, then Bird. But I would say Celtics Bruins, not even close.
Wow.
The Red Sox, you got to understand, the Red Sox weren't good when I was a kid. But you could go to the games and you could hang out. But I didn't drink. And I mean, I made up for it, but I didn't drink back then. You know what I mean? So and then I started having kids. But the Bruins, and where I grew up, there was only one sport, guys. My high school had one sport. No, that's it. We made it to the state finals 2 years in a row. We were 29-1 and 28-1. We lost in the state finals 2 years in a row. Basketball is the only sport we had. You can Google that and look at it. Mission High class at 78 and 79. We were 29-1 and I think 28-1 or 28-2.
Wow.
My 2 years. There were no 3-pointers. There was no 24-second clock. There was not much. That was it. There was cheerleaders and even the bus driver. The bus driver used to get drunk driving us to the games, and he would miss the exits. He would miss the exits. I'm not sure. We used to go to Hudson Catholic. We was a Catholic schooling. He took us to New York. We showed up at Hudson Catholic like 6 hours later. Yeah.
Big Celtics guys here. That's probably our number one team.
No. You can't. I have the Celtic shirt upstairs. The Celtic man. Tatum's a bad dude, man. Yeah. Good player. So is Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I like Marcus Smart. We miss Marcus Smart because of his toughness. But I liked him. It's just, the game's changed, man. There's no pick and rolls.
Yeah.
There's no games. It's whoever gets open, you shoot that three, man, and that's
Right.
it. Bang.
It's one-on-one.
That's it. Right.
A lot
right.
of one-on-one stuff.
But, and again, it's enjoyable. I watched the game. It was enjoyable. But it's not like when I played. I mean, you'd actually set up a triangle and you try to get the ball down low. There's no big men no more. Remember, it was a big deal to have a Parrish, to have a Abdul-Jabbar, to have a Patrick Ewing, to have a Moses Malone. Man,
Shaq.
name me a big guy. No more. After Shaq was the last one. Now it's all the biggest guy is LeBron, Anthony Davis. After that, it's Tatum, is Seth Curry, is shooters, all shooters. Choom, 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 choom. That's it. But I mean, it's an exciting offensive game. The offense has gone up. I mean, so
yeah. And Tatum was just announced to be the starter, the all-star starter. Yeah, he's filling in for Anthony Davis, who's out, going to miss the game with it. Or no, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Durant's for the Nets. Yeah.
So he's going to be
Davis
the
is on
starter.
the West Coast.
Yeah. So Tatum's actually going to start, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, he's a good player. You see the game the other night? You see him score 5 points in 10 seconds?
We needed it. We've been struggling. Last
I know.
And
the Bullets, the Wizards are playing good. It used to be the Washington Bullets. You know that, right?
Yeah.
They're playing good. They're not that bad, man. They're not that bad. Miami Heat's not bad. Toronto's not bad. Celtics not bad. New Jersey's good. You know what I mean? I mean, you still have to beat the West teams. You know what I mean? You have to be. You see New Orleans. I mean, Denver's really good now. Utah's really good.
Utah's Danny Football's dark horse. Or no, you're the Suns. Phoenix Suns is your dark horse.
Suns, yeah.
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns, the Utah Jazz are good. Denver Nuggets are good. All of them. The Clippers, Lakers, Portland, all of them are Golden State, everyone out there. You go to the West Coast trip, they always have it. You know why I know they always had it? Because it was always school vacation out here because I'd always take my kids to the circus. In Boston, why the Celtics and the Bruins went out to the West Coast in the winter, they would have school vacation out here. They would have the circus at the Garden. So I'd bring my kids to the circus. You know what I mean? Or they would have Disney on Ice or some bullshit like that. You know what I mean? So they were like, I said, I need 12 tickets to Disney on Ice, please. 12 tickets. What are you bringing? A basketball? No. I'm just bringing my kids. Be quiet, man. My wife's not coming. Otherwise, we need more tickets, man. Relax. Hey, guys, man. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys, man.
Yeah.
Do you need ask any more questions?
We usually do fan topics about
okay, cool. Go ahead. Whatever you want. Go ahead. I'll let you guys talk.
Let's get into the people's topic.
It's the people's topic, baby. People's topic.
Reminder for everyone at home, you can follow us at Instagram and Twitter at Big Red Zone. You can write in every week if you have a topic, question, whatever you want. We'll talk about it on the show. So, producer
you need
John,
Kevin to come back to tell more stories, true stories, and nothing lie about it all. If I told you some of the stories, you'd be like, "You got to be kidding me!" And this guy's still alive? Are you kidding me?
I think we need you to come back soon, Kev.
Definitely, man.
Producer John, what do we got for this week?
All right.
Come on, producer John.
I'm working on it. First
sorry,
one.
John. I didn't mean to yell.
I'm just kidding.
John got a little scared there.
Oh, shit. I started scaring myself. Man. What the fuck? All
right.
What the fuck are you yelling at the poor guy?
From @SmallState Takes on Twitter, who is your favorite Celtic, Red Sox, and Patriots player from the 2014 teams?
2014?
That's a random year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, since we're going to go 2014, I'm going to say Tatum wasn't there. I'm going to have to say, shit, who was it? You know, Shabazz is my guy. Shabazz used to live with me. You know that, right? Nate
Shabazz is from the area.
What do you mean? He's from Mission. Shabazz, they say Randolph and Avon. He's not. He's from Mission Hill. He grew up. He went to Lawrence Academy. He went to UConn. Shabazz played. My daughter Alyssa and Shabazz played on the same team together.
Really?
You know, Shabazz's brother Timmy was actually better than Shabazz. Shabazz had a brother Timmy who was better than him.
No kidding.
But he didn't get the good break. Shabazz is a really good kid. He stayed at my house with me when we lived in Walpole for a month. His mother Carmen and me are like this. Yeah, Shabazz. I'd say Shabazz. Patriots. I'm going to have to go with Gronkowski or Brady, obviously.
Yeah.
Or I love the dude who does who had cancer. What's his name? Because he helped my brother out. What's the guy's name who travels around
for the Patriots?
The Patriots, yeah. He's the big guy.
Vince?
He had cancer. No.
Cannon? Didn't Cannon?
No. Rizzoli, what's his name? Rizzucci. Rizzucci, his brother died, or his brother was a firefighter in 9/11. Andruzzi. He came to my brother Andy had cancer. He came to his house and brought him like a care package and stuff like that. And Joe Andruzzi.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
He was on the
Really cool guy. Really nice guy. Lives like in Attleboro or somewhere like that.
That's awesome.
I would say Big Poppy's my favorite, man. So listen, man, I'm out one night at the clubs, right? And I post an Escalade, right? So I'm like, well, who's in this big flashy Escalade, man? And out gets Big Poppy. So I'm like, what's up? And he's like, what's up? And I said, it's Kevin. He said, what's up, Kevin? But I never met him. You know, and he was like, so he's like, come on. We went upstairs to the House of Blues. You know the House of Blues?
Oh, yeah.
Upstairs, they had this private room. I sat in the private room with him all night long for like 6 hours. Me and my nephew. My nephew was like, I can't believe it. And my nephew was like 18. I'm like, Richie, shut up, man. Big Poppy used to go to JP to get his hair cut. Him and Pedro Martinez used to get their hair cut in the same spot. So I was like, listen, I was mentioning people who I knew from that neighborhood. And he was like, yeah, what's up? So we hunted. Anytime I'd see him after that, he'd be like, what's up? But he's a nice guy, man. So I'd say Big Poppy. I would say hockey, Bobby Orr, no matter what year it is. You can any year at all. And, of course, Brady and Gronk. And basketball.
Marcus Smart was on that team.
Paul Pierce. Was the truth on there?
No, this was the Isaiah
Paul
Thomas
Pierce deserves some credit, though.
Yeah.
Paul Pierce, man, he won us a championship. He wasn't a true blue Boston guy. You know, he got stabbed in a club, right?
Yeah.
19 times, and he played every game in the next season.
You know what happened, though, right? Made Men. Listen, man, he went into the club, right? They were shooting pool. There's a group called Made Men, some real bad dude. And he started talking to one of the girls, and they had warned him. They said, "Listen, man."
Were you there?
My friends were.
I was like, do we have an inside source right now?
They were like, no, it's 100% true, because the father of the guy who stabbed him did some time with a family member of mine, and he was like, they warned him. They were like, listen, man, she's with us, chill out. And he was like, do you know who I am? And they were like, what? What did you just say? So they ran around the pool table, stabbing him in the pool table, and no one helped him. No one helped him out at all. They hit him like 16 times.
He was only a rookie.
They stabbed him like 16 times, And then people from LA were saying, they're going to come here. And they're like, what? You fucking crazy? You're going to come here and go where? You know what I mean? And the guy ended up, they were from a group called Made Men. Check it out. And they ended up hitting him. They may have stabbed him 10 or 15 times.
They got him good. They got him good.
Yeah, around the pool table. But my opinion, what I heard was, I'm not from there. I wasn't there. But I heard was, he mouthed it off and was like, he knew he was outnumbered. When you know you're outnumbered, you know, discretion's the better part of valor. You just have to be cool, man. Unless you're going to just shoot everybody and do life. Yeah. What are you going to do? Life in prison? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was so he was a young kid from California.
Right. So I think he knew. I don't think he went out by himself after that. He should. You know what I mean? You can't go out to Boston. That would be like me and you going out to a club anywhere in Dallas and like talking shit. You know what I mean? You get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. It don't matter who you are. Look what happened to Big Poppy.
Right.
No matter who you are. You know what I mean? Think about it, guys. Anyone can shoot you. They just know that they're, and some guys go to the joint. It's like a vacation going to prison. You know what I mean? It's not hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would say that's about it.
I would go on that team. Marcus Smart was on that team, so of course.
Yeah, I like him. Smart. I always liked Marcus Smart.
And I think I'd have to agree with you with Big Poppy.
Yeah.
Brady, of course. Brady always wins.
Yeah.
Any football, who do you got?
I'd have to go Poppy.
Guys, I took Kansas City this year in the Super Bowl.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Danny Football took Kansas City.
Fucking Kansas. I took Kansas City in the over.
I thought it was their time to go, man.
I took Kansas City in the over.
I thought
at halftime. I was watching a halftime performance. That's how mad I was. I watched the weekend. I ended up watching the weekend at half fucking time. That's how bad it got.
Producer John in
any other question, John?
Yeah.
So to preface all this, no one knows that you're on the show yet. So like all these questions came in, you know, as just general, but this question feels like a Kevin question.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Who would you rather have on your side in a fight? Kevin Garnett or Kendrick Perkins?
Oh, this is a good question.
From at Justin_Lavoy 5 on Twitter.
I'd take.
I would take. I I actually have a Kendrick Perkins story. He played for the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get into it because it would implicate too many other people. But we were in a car. We were in a car in Eggleston Station, and someone walked in front of my car, and I started yelling at him, and someone claimed there was a gun. I don't know what happened in the car. And Kendrick, he got out and jumped into a cab. But I would take Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett's from Farragut School in Chicago. He went to Farragut High School in Chicago, man.
Yeah.
You got to be tough just to go there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
KG is one of my favorite players. It's Larry Bird and KG. So I got to go.
Yeah.
Got to stay with my guy KG.
Yeah.
Perk is scary.
Staying on theme, we'll do this last question from our guy Joseph_Celia. Staying with the Celtics, who's on your Celtics Mount Rushmore? He says his are Bird, Russell, Havlicek, and Pierce. So four Celtics
and DJ. And DJ, just to add DJ, and I'll go with those 5 right there.
Perfect.
Dave Collins was really good, man. I'm telling you. Who else was really good?
Tommy Heinsohn. I put Tommy on
Cousy, you got to understand, guys.
Cousy's
he changed the
one.
game. He was Houdini of the hardwood. Houdini of the hardwood. If you're called Houdini of the hardwood, you better be able to play basketball. Let me tell you that much. And listen, you got to understand, McHale was great, man. You know who was really good? They don't give him credit. Cedric Maxwell, man. You know he won the MVP of the finals, right?
84.
81 or 84. One of them.
Yeah.
He won the MVP. Cedric Maxwell. Cornbread. Man, he was a bad dude, man. He used to carry a purse. Yeah, he was one of DJ's best friends. He
goes to the Celtics games all the time.
Yeah, I know.
I would see him over there all the time.
But I mean, it's hard for me to even understand why people wouldn't give Bill Russell. The man won more rings than he had fingers. He had to put a ring on his toe. So if you put rings on every finger, he still needs to put one more ring on his toe. I mean, I don't care. I don't care if you don't like his personality, if you don't like him as the way he couldn't shoot threes. He played in a different era. He still won 11 goddamn championships. Man.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what you're saying, man. 11 championships.
You got to give it to him.
I mean, if you're deciding by championships, if that's what the top of the Phoenix is, the high point of it, the man won 11 championships. He's only played 13 goddamn seasons.
Yeah.
One he was injured. So, I mean, he won
That's a pretty good
90.
track record.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, except back then it was just a different time and different era in Boston.
Yeah.
So he wasn't accepted. But it's unfortunate. But, I mean, he won. One more story, and that's it, man. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 1972, me and my brother running for this track. They have these track run tryouts up in Mission Hill. So me and my brother, we finished first and second. So we go to White Stadium, which is up near the Franklin Park Zoo. You know, White Stadium is in the back. So they have the Jesse Owens Jr. track meet, right? So me and my brother Richie, we make it through 3 qualifying rounds. We ended up going to BU on a Friday night in August, 1972. I was 11. Richie was 12. So we ended up getting the 100-yard dash finals, me and Richie. We come in 7th and 8th. We came in dead last, both of us, because we were like, fucking, there's no way these kids are 12. They look so, but the whole point was Jesse Owens was there. He came over to me and my brother. He came over to me and my brother. We had a thing that said we participated. I have it upstairs. My daughter, I found it when I went through my stuff. He said, "Good luck, Kevin. Thank you. Best wishes, Jesse Owens." I met Jesse Owens.
That's
shook his
awesome.
hand. Shook his hand. He was the most dignified, most dignified, pride, full of pride. He said, "Kevin, thank you for," because me and Richie were sitting there like this. We came in 7th and 8th out of 8 people, and he came over and I found it. My brother Richie passed away in '86, so I found the papers that Jesse Owens. He actually signed ours and said, "Best wishes, Richie." Jesse Owens. And he said, "Kevin," because I talked to him. I said, you won gold medals in front of Hitler or something. No, we were just talking. And he was so dignified and so nice and such a humble man. I have a paper signed by Jesse Owens, 1972. He passed away in 1980. And he won the 4 gold medals. These people don't realize this. They talk about in 1936, when he won his gold medals, they wouldn't even play the national anthem. People left the stadium. And he would stand there. He won 4 gold medals in 36. And 1972, I met him. And he signed, I have a letter signed by him to me and wishing me the best of luck by Jesse Owens.
That's
Can you
unbelievable.
believe? Yeah, that's a fact,
awesome.
man. Yeah, big time. I'd go get it. but it would take me like 3 minutes. But the next time we come on, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And it's signed by Jesse Owens, man. And
Next-
no one knows. He won 4 gold medals out of 4 races. He was 4 for 4 in 1936. And Hitler walked out and would not even acknowledge him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the man, went up against that and he won. So, I mean, these things now, I mean, I'm not comparing him to the athletes now. The world has changed, but you got to give the man his credit where credit's due, man. That man traveled. It took 2 months to get to the goddamn Olympics. There wasn't no planes. They took a boat to the Olympics. They took a boat to Munich. What the fuck? A boat. Now you can take a Concorde and be there in like 3 hours. You know what I mean? And back home, you're going to be back home for the night game. Yeah.
Next time you come on, we're gonna have a show and tell. I gotta see
the Princeton
Man, I'm gonna bring
green, the DJ jersey,
No, I
and
have
everything.
I have them all. I definitely will. I didn't know you guys were like a sports. What do you shit me? I would have it all. I have Prince's thing. I have DJ's gave me the shirt. I have Jesse Owens thing. I have the sash. I wear the Mr. Mass sash. This guy's really a weirdo, man. You know what I mean? But listen, it's really been a pleasure, man. And I had a great time tonight, man. I'll definitely come to some of your games, all right?
I appreciate you. I
promise I will. Thank you so much, guys. I see the Irish flag back there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll rep it every day.
So where do you live? Do you live in Boston?
No, I'm out near Worcester.
Worcester? My daughters, they used to play. Remember they would play AAU games at Assumption and at all those colleges.
And Holy Cross. That's a nice place.
Yeah. My daughters, there'd be like 8 games going on at once. Someone would blow the whistle. Someone would blow the whistle on one court, and the girls would stop playing on the other court. They'd be like, no, keep playing, man. Listen, guys, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much, man. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Kev, for coming on.
Later, guys.
Good to meet you.
And if you see me walking, say hi. Hey, John, producer. See you later, man.
Hey, it was great to meet you. Have a good one.
Later, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank Danny Football and producer.
Whoa. You can't just woo. Let's take a breather for a second.
I was just gonna close it out.
I know, but man, how was that?
That was wall-to-wall content. I didn't want to him.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the big brother guy, but even when he was talking sports, I was like, I'm letting him go, dude. I'm not stopping this train.
Woo. That was I can't wait to have him on.
Prince and DJ and Jesse Owens and Shabazz Napier stayed at his house.
Yeah.
I'm not touching this, man. He can talk all day long if he wants.
Stories came out of nowhere. That was great.
Jesus.
I'm glad I made a new account so we didn't have to break every 40 minutes. That would have been a pain.
If you look in the Google Doc for like what I'm gonna have the title list, there's like 36 different title. I'm gonna need some help here. But okay, I know. I just wanted to take that second to acknowledge what just happened. But yes, get us out of here.
All right. My thanks to Kevin again for coming on. Danny Football as always. Producer John. Have a great week, everyone.